welcome to today's On This Day in Tudor History. I am, of course, Claire Ridgway, as you probably know by now, the author of that book just behind me, On This Day in Tudor History, which has served as the inspiration for this series of daily videos. Okay, today I'm taking you back to the reign of King Henry VIII. On this day in Tudor history, the 9th of April 1533, a delegation of King Henry VIII's councillors, headed by Thomas Howard, 3rd Duke of Norfolk, and Charles Brandon, Duke of Suffolk, visited Catherine of Aragon. Now, Catherine at this time was at Ampthill in Bedfordshire, where she'd recently been moved, because, of course, Catherine had been removed from court. She'd been banished from court and was moved around from various properties. Now, the purpose of these councillors' visit to Catherine was to inform her that Henry VIII was now married to Anne Boleyn and that Catherine was no longer queen. There was a new queen, Queen Anne Boleyn. Now, the delegation gave her the news about Henry's second marriage, but they left it to Catherine's chamberlain, who was Sir William Blount, 4th Baron Mountjoy, to break the news that she'd been demoted from Queen to Dowager Princess of Wales, a title that she held because of the fact that she'd been married to Arthur Tudor, Prince of Wales, before Henry VIII. So they didn't have the nerve to really sort of tell her that, but they left that till after they'd gone, left that news to her chamberlain to break to her. Now, Eustace Chapuis, the imperial ambassador and a good friend, a real supporter of Catherine, reported the news of this visit to his master, Emperor Charles V, on the 10th of April. He wrote, "He is fully resolved, as he has told many, and those of his council publish, that immediately after Easter he will solemnise his marriage and the coronation of the lady, Anne Boleyn. The better to prepare the way, he sent yesterday the Dukes of Norfolk and Suffolk, the Marquis and the Earl of Augsburg," I haven't got a clue who he was kind of referring to there, "to the Queen, to tell her that she must not trouble herself any more, nor attempt to return to him, seeing that he is married, and that henceforth she abstain from the title of Queen, and assume the title of Duchess, Princess, leaving her the entire enjoyment of the goods she formerly had, and offering her more if she needed more. The Queen," he's talking about Catherine of Aragon then, "would not fail to advertise me of the interview. I know not whether they are in any doubt as to the Queen's willingness to dislodge or not, but about 8 days ago the King's Council commanded my Lord Mountjoy to rejoin her with all diligence and keep watch upon her and not leave her." Now, Catherine, who had at this time been married to King Henry VIII for nearly 24 years, refused to acknowledge her new title of Dowager Princess of Wales. She believed herself to be Henry VIII's true wife and his true queen consort. So she continued to refer to herself as queen, much to Henry VIII's dismay. He did expect her to just roll over and accept things as a good woman should. On the 3rd of July 1533, Lord Mountjoy, her chamberlain, was instructed to inform Catherine that she was to stop referring to herself as queen, because she'd carried on referring to herself as queen, and that she had to recognise the title of Princess Dowager. The instructions came in the form of a letter that was written by Thomas Cromwell and delivered by members of the King's Council. It said, "As the King cannot have two wives," so I'm just stopping the dog from scratching. "As the King cannot have two wives, he cannot permit the Dowager to persist in calling herself by the name of Queen, especially considering how benignantly," I do love that word, benignantly, "and honourably she has been treated in the realm. She is to satisfy herself with the name of Dowager as prescribed by the Act of Parliament, and must beware of the danger if she attempt to contravene it, which will only irritate the feelings of the people against her. If she be not persuaded by these arguments to avoid the King's indignation, and relent from her vehement arrogancy, the king will be compelled to punish her servants and withdraw her affection from his daughter. Finally, that as the marriage is irrevocable, I think he means irrevocable, and has passed the consent of Parliament, nothing that she can do will annul it, and she will only incur the displeasure of Almighty God and of the king. So there you have quite a threat there that, if she doesn't play ball and recognise her title and stop calling herself queen, the king will punish her servants. Her relationship with her daughter Mary will be affected. It's bullying, really, isn't it? Now, the council members reported back on their subsequent visit to Catherine to take these instructions to Lord Mountjoy. They reported back to the king that Catherine took exception to the name, persisting that she was the king's true wife and her children were legitimate, which she would claim to be true during her life. Children, of course, referring to Mary and also the children that she'd lost, like Henry, Duke of Cornwall, who only lived 52 days. Regarding the king's marriage to Anne Boleyn, which the council told her had been adjudged lawful by the universities, the Lords and Commons, Catherine replied that the cause was not theirs, but the Pope's to judge. And she went on to say that she did not defend her cause upon obstinacy, nor to create any dissension in the realm, but to save her own rights. And she said that she prayed daily for the king. She concluded that she would not abandon the title till such time as a sentence is given to the contrary by the Pope. And she also requested a copy of the council's instructions to her so that she could send them on to Rome so that the Pope could see what she was being, ordered to do. So incensed was Catherine with being treated this way and with being demoted from Queen to Princess Dowager that she actually obliterated the words Princess Dowager in the letter, in the instructions that the council were giving her. She scribbled them out, put a line through them. She was furious. And she would not submit. She would not accept the annulment of her marriage and her new status, however much the king bullied her or threatened her. And she never did accept this new status. She died on the 7th of January 1536, and she was buried at Peterborough Abbey, now Peterborough Cathedral, as Dowager Princess of Wales. However, today her resting place is marked Catherine, Queen of England, and we recognise her today as Henry VIII's true wife and Queen Consort, his first wife. So an awful thing for her to be treated this way. Their marriage had started off really well, really happily. They seemed to have been in love and happy for many, many years. And she went through so much trying to give Henry VIII the Prince of Wales that he so desired. But on the 9th of April 1533, she was visited and told that she was no longer queen, that another woman had taken that place and she was to call herself Princess Dowager. An awful thing. Well, I'll be back tomorrow with some more Tudor goodies. You can subscribe to this channel by clicking there and hit the bell to be notified of new videos as well. I'm so glad from the comments I'm receiving that you are enjoying this series of daily videos. It's so good to hear. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.